Every day.
We are diapers on a plane.
Okay, here we go to the podcast vlog. Happy fun times.
This is Diapers on a Plane, episode 41.
All right, if you've been watching our previous podcast, we have been talking all month long about celebrating Christmas away from home in a foreign country. And 2019...
It was really warm at Panama when we went.
Yes,
So
it was.
was really warm.
Yes, so in 2019 we celebrated where?
In Panama.
Yes, so what kind of Christmas, what kind of culture do they have in Panama?
Spanish
Culture, yeah. So how do they say Merry Christmas in Panama?
Feliz Navidad. So Feliz is not merry, it's actually happy.
Very, you remember,
They have,
good.
but they, and we tried looking for some, but apparently there was no merry. They have. Anyway, we couldn't find any merry.
So did we have a happy Christmas in Panama?
Yes.
Yeah, so originally we were going to go to Germany for Christmas in 2019. But then this great opportunity came for a discounted apartment in Panama, and so we decided to flip the switch and celebrate Christmas on the beach. We had never spent a warm Christmas, so we decided to see what it would be like south of the border.
Yeah, so normally when you think about Christmas, you think about snow and Christmas trees and winter and sleigh bells and sleighs.
And peppermints.
You know, the North Pole. And so we've kind of been indoctrinated. We've kind of been taught that Christmas should be wintry. And so we decided, what would it be like having Christmas in a warm climate on the beach?
And technically peppermint isn't have anything to do with cold, but I always feel like it does.
Yeah, what's with peppermint?
You were listing all those cold things.
Well, it's true, like, it melts, right?
It melts?
No.
Okay. It melts in hot chocolate.
Instead of snow, it's sand. Instead of pine trees, they're palm trees.
So keep watching and find out whether it was worth it to go to the beach for Christmas.
Well,
Beachy Christmas.
are we glad that we didn't go to Germany?
I don't know. It's hard to say. We didn't go. But we've been talking to a lot of German people lately from Germany, and we kind of told them that we wanted to go to Germany for Christmas, and they suggested that we not. Because while the German markets are super fun and Christmassy, they said it's not worth the weather and the depressing atmosphere of wintertime in Germany. So they said, don't do that. Go in the spring or the summer when Germany is bright and vibrant and the weather is awesome. So we'll take that for what it's worth. We've gone to Iceland. We've gone to Norway. We've gone to some pretty dark, cold places and had a lot of fun.
That's my question. Is that's why they light all the candles in Norway and Iceland.
And they do a bunch of lights in Iceland.
Yeah,
the
so
windows.
maybe Germany would be the same. I don't know. I do imagine if you had lived somewhere for a lot of Christmases, you do see like the negative aspects of it. It's like after living in Oregon, it's like you don't realize how much it rains until you leave, you know? Or you realize how much it rains, but you don't realize how it affects you. So maybe it's the same way. Maybe it would still be just as exciting, and we wouldn't find it as gloomy because we're not regulars.
Yeah, so if you're from Germany or you've been to Germany for Christmas, is that true? Is that valid? We would like to know. Should we go to Germany for Christmas?
All right, but in any event, I still want to go to Germany for Christmas. Nobody's gonna dissuade me. I want to see the Christmas snow everywhere. I want to see all of that. But for 2019, we went to Panama. So what is Christmas like in Panama?
Well, it's never cold and you're sweating all the time.
It's true.
It was really hot and humid. I do remember we were sweating all the time.
It was super hot.
And one time, 4 days in a row, at 2 or 3 in the day, it rained heavy. But it felt warm because we just went to the beach.
That's true. It rained almost every day for like an hour, and then it was hot again.
Yeah.
It is very fun to plan rain if you've been going on a walk and it hasn't been raining. It's very refreshing.
Yeah, so Christmas in Panama means a lot of Christmas on the beach. Means a lot of Christmas in the swimming pool. We, if you've followed us on Instagram, we took our Christmas family photo in the pool last year.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. So we weren't near a traditional beach where, you know, you have your shoreline and the waves come and go. We were at a very shallow beach, and for the most part, the water was like, it felt like miles. It definitely wasn't miles away, but it just felt like the shoreline was super far. But when the tide came in, the kids came up with a really fun game.
It's called Build a Fortress Before You Get Wet.
And how do you play it?
So you wake up. So the tide comes in later in the day when it's about 1. So if you wake up at 9, you can go to the beach, and then but it's good if you wake up at 9 and then go to the middle of the water because it comes from the sides, because there's little holes in the sides. It comes from the sides, then it comes in the middle. So the middle is perfect. And if you come at 9, you'll have extra time to build your walls really thick.
So you need to build a fortress. It's just a circle, and you will want to dig out from the middle so your place is deep and the other is high.
And you want to build a moat.
Yes, definitely a moat, and then another wall behind that. So it's very protected. Maybe you could even build 2 moats. And you don't want to let the water touch you. So just keep building the fortress until the tides come in. It's really fun to play.
That's awesome. What else did you like to do on the beach?
Well, real quick, so the trick was, there was no real differentiating between telling where exactly they were on the beach, but if they picked the right spot, it was the very last spot, like Widmore said, it came in from the sides, so they could last the longest. So we every day tried to find the exact spot.
It was super fun.
So it came from this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. All the way.
Yeah, so they ended up being in the center, and they were completely surrounded, which is why it was a moat.
And it was like, it was not tied yet, so we wanted it. And when we were going back, the tide started coming in.
Yes, on the sand, yes.
And if you come at night, we wanted to go in the beach swimming in the night, and we couldn't because it was too low and it was full of rocks and these little crabs all over it.
Okay, you tell us about the sand.
There were so many seashells.
Okay, you tell us about the sand. Yes, did you play in the sand? Yes, was it warm? Did you like it? Okay, good job.
And we found so many seashells. That was the best part. We're always bringing seashells back to the house.
And what lived in those seashells? Okay, so what other things did you do on the beach?
In the morning, if you go out really far, there'll be big rocks, and if you flip them over, there'll be crabs with like 5 legs on one side and 5 legs on the other side, and they'll be walking around. And if you move the rock off, they can be a bunch of those.
So we were sitting on the beach, and we could hear all this rustle. It was like incredibly loud, and there was this large pile of it was actually debris. It was just one of the unfortunate things, but there was a lot of ocean waste that was on the side and garbage. But you could hear this rustling, and it just constant, just it was really a little bit creepy. We weren't sure what it was, and we went to investigate. And how many were there?
Millions, thousands, and we had a bucket, and in 1 minute there was 50 in there in a bucket.
Yeah,
it was overfilling. It was falling out, and then there was this really big one, and there were some that needed new shells, and then there was one that grabbed my fingernail, and then it wouldn't let go. So, and then I pulled it off, and it was holding it, and then I did it again to show Mom, but then it really wouldn't come off that time.
Yeah.
No, I'll be stuck on here forever.
No, so I was pretty excited. The little kid in me was so excited to see so many hermit crabs. The ground was moving with them. We would go out with buckets and catch a whole bunch. So something that you don't normally get to do at Christmas time. So we're pretty excited about that. So let's talk about Christmas. Do they celebrate Christmas in Panama?
Yes. No.
Yes.
No.
Do they have signs out for Christmas?
No, they celebrate Epiphany.
So they celebrate both. Yeah, but we definitely. Yes, so they celebrate both Christmas and Epiphany. So what happens on Christmas?
You get your siblings and family presents, and he fills up your stocking.
And Santa fills up your stockings, and then what happens on Epiphany?
Then you get Santa's
Yes,
presents.
then Santa comes back on Epiphany. So we're learning all these things. All of these movies make us think that Santa has to make the whole trip all the way around the world in one night. But we've been talking about the logistics, and he really doesn't do it in one night. And why is that?
Because people have other goals.
Okay, not just...
and other ways to celebrate.
Yes, right. But is the whole world... Is the same time in Utah the same time that it is in Panama?
No, it's different.
No, so how does that affect Santa?
So he does one Since they're already in bed, he does the other side of the world.
Yeah, so he does half the world at a time. So really, there's quite a few things they've got some wrong with some Santa folklore. And then in Panama and some other Spanish countries, he doesn't come until January 6th.
But he comes to fill up your stocking.
Yes, he does. That's true. So that definitely takes time. Okay, so one thing we always do as a family is we always go and see Santa Claus every year, and we have a family picture with Santa Claus. And of course, Panama was no exception. We spent the whole month in Panama. So what was Santa like in Panama?
He spoke Spanish.
He spoke Spanish, yeah. And did we speak Spanish and tell him what we wanted in Spanish?
A few words.
A few words, yeah. Don't hit. And did we drop off our letters there? Did they have a big box at the mall to drop off our letters?
Yes.
Yes. And Santa had extra time because he wasn't going to bring our presents until we got back to Utah. Yes, for Epiphany.
The 12th day after Christmas.
Yeah, so
January 6th.
Right, so the 12 days of Christmas. So we learned so much about like Epiphany and different ways. The meaning of the 12 days of Christmas. I had no idea. We always sing. Okay, so Epiphany was cool. Now, see, we grew up seeing the 12 days of Christmas, but I never really knew why there were 12 days and what that really meant.
Yeah.
So the idea behind Epiphany, because I actually just remembered why.
Okay, you gotta be
And correct me if I'm wrong. It's Christmas is the day that Christ was born. Okay, so the 12 days of Christmas. So what happened on the first day of Christmas?
True love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
Okay, well, what really happened? What's the partridge in a pear tree represent? So that's Christ. So Christ was born on the first day. And I forget the significance of all the other ones, but what's the 12th day?
Epiphany.
Epiphany. So what's Epiphany?
So on Christmas, all your siblings and family give you presents.
Okay.
When the shepherds give Heavenly Father Jesus his presents.
Yeah, so Epiphany is when the shepherds and the wise men actually discovered Christ, right? It was the Epiphany. So they appeared to Christ, or Christ appeared to them, but it was the moment when they gave Christ the gifts, right? So that makes sense, because on the Epiphany, that's when Santa gives us our gifts as a representation of the gifts of Christ. So it's pretty cool. So we learned a lot in Panama about the 12 days of Christmas that I wasn't fully aware of.
Ah.
Maybe I should have been.
Yeah. So that was really cool. So let's talk about food. What kind of food do they eat and celebrate Christmas with in Panama?
Ham.
Yeah.
Ham.
Yeah, and then they cook it a really special way.
They smoke it. They smoke it under orange.
Well, we baked it. We baked it with orange soda, right?
Yes.
So the orange soda like turned into a glaze. Actually, no, I boiled it down.
Yeah.
I boiled down the orange soda and glazed the ham with it. It was a picnic ham, and the grocery stores were just full of Christmas hams. And that was the big thing you ate there in Panama. And so, of course, I picked one up. And I've got to admit, it was pretty darn amazing.
Yeah. It was one of our favorite things that we ate. And then they also have a braided wreath. It's a bread, so it's a braided bread wreath. They also have, the other food that they had were tamales.
Tamales. arroz con pollo.
which I thought was so good. Like the rice dish that they make, I thought that was so good. It comes with the bean. What kind of beans were they?
Pernil, they were like a green bean, right?
Yeah.
Like this,
It's like almost like a pea. Yeah, it was like a pea/bean.
Yep.
It was really good. Those were so good. They had this special type of stuffing and then lots of bowls of fruit.
Bowls of fruit, lots of grapes and tamales. That's not really fruit.
Yeah, that's not fruit at all. So Panamanians have a tradition where you eat grapes with seeds, and then you count the seeds of the grapes that you eat on Christmas, and however many seeds you get, you can eat however many grapes you want, and how many seeds you get or how many wishes you get throughout the year, and they will come true.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that we are just American tourists trying to emulate these cultures.
Yes.
Do not take us as experts. This is just what we tried to do.
Very true.
To have an authentic experience.
Very true. So we had Christmas on the beach. We visited
Santa Claus at the mall.
Panama Santa. We had an authentic Christmas meal. Did we have a Christmas tree?
No. But
They use
it
napkins
wasn't a live one. They used nafties.
Nativities.
Nativity.
Yes, and one of the things we really wanted to do to commemorate our Christmas in Panama was to get a nativity scene. Now, since this is such a huge part of the culture, you would think it would be really easy to find a nativity. But the only place that we could find one was just at the local supermarket. And we didn't buy one there because we thought we could get like a handcrafted one at a market or something. We searched everywhere. And by the time we went back to the local supermarket to just buy the one they had there to commemorate our trip, they were all sold out.
Big miss. Big swing and a miss. We did not get our nativity set that we so desperately wanted on our trip to Panama. It was one of our checklist items. We wanted to bring that home so we could always remember our time there.
Yeah.
We didn't.
So we do that on every trip. We always buy something that really reminds us. So we have an Iceland Santa, and we have a husky dog from Norway. We also have a troll from Norway.
We have a husky dog. Where are we keeping it?
It's just a tiny little dog.
Oh, it's not a real dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh. and so we wanted this nativity from Panama, but we could not get one, and we were really disappointed. So what did we do instead?
We used green yarn and taped it to the wall in the form of a Christmas tree. And guess what we used for ornaments?
The same thing as we used in Norway. So we cut out pieces of paper.
Yes, and we also used pipe cleaners and shaped them into little ornaments with hooks.
That's right, and it was really festive. It was really beautiful. So it wasn't the nativity that we hoped for, but it was a great use of what we had. We made do, huh?
Yep.
This was a great Christmas. It was a warm Christmas. Would we do it again? Would we do a warm Christmas
So
again?
what was the epiphany we had about having a warm Christmas?
I think it was good. It was really good.
So it was good. I'm gonna say it was good. It felt like, but we've grown up in cold climates for the winter time. So we're used to snow, winter, Christmas trees, all of that. And it just didn't feel like Christmas for our family. Even though we'd go out and about, we'd see all the signs, Feliz Navidad, we'd see some Christmas decorations. And even in some of the houses, I would see like a fake Christmas tree in the window. It didn't feel right because it's not cold, and this is not a climate where pine trees grow.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't have got like a small little palm tree.
We should have, huh? But so it never felt, to me, it never really felt like Christmas.
Yeah.
I didn't get into the Christmas spirit. We just talked about Iceland and Norway, and those, like I was saying, those places, it was just thick. Like, you walked outside, the Christmas spirit just slapped you in the face. On this one, not so much. It just felt hot and sweaty, and that, to me, is not Christmas.
Yeah.
So I apologize to anyone who has grown up or lives in the warm climate where they do get into the Christmas spirit, but...
So for our family, we prefer cold Christmas, and I'm sure this goes, like you said, for anybody, you go back to your childhood and you prefer how your childhood was spent. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys prefer when they grow up, because they have celebrated Christmas in so many different places everywhere. So thank you for taking this journey with us.
Well, I just want to say, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, do you prefer warm or cold Christmas? I legitimately want to know people's opinions on that.
All right, so we will wait to hear from you, and we will catch you next week.
Feliz Navidad!
Feliz Navidad. Bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas! And a happy pandemic to you.